You're about to hear a story of transformation. You may ask how one achieves transformation and what the process is. That is the science of transformative yoga. So let's just take my life as an example. Well, working as a trader in the petroleum sector in Europe made me enough money to believe that I could do no wrong. And then the tragedy, which melted my life like a house of wax. Memories of my glorious past haunted and tortured me down to a very low point in my life. So what had I been pursuing for most of my life? I was 60 and I had to find value and meaning again. That is when I discovered Kaivalyadhama, and thus began the discovery of the self. But first, the man who made it all possible, Swami Kaivalyadhama, also known as Jagannath Gune. Let me take you back in time, into a piece of history. Swami Kaivalyadhama is the founder of Kaivalyadhama. This was in 1924. His vision was to present the eternal truth of yoga to the world through scientific validation in a laboratory. The laboratory happened to be Kaivalyadhama. He treated Mahatma Gandhi, the young Dalai Lama, and demonstrated his work to the likes of Jawaharlal Nehru and Morarji Desai. Swami Kaivalyadhama's work influenced the modern resurgence of yoga in the West. After his death, the institute was left in the very capable hands of his disciple Sri O.P. Tiwari. Sri Tiwari is a world-renowned pranayama master and has carried on the work of his guru for more than 50 years now.
Kaivalyadhama is an institution where, strictly as per Swamiji's words, the tradition has to be followed and yoga without dilution has to be kept in original form.
Adha samadhi padah Adha yoganuशासनम् योगः चित्तवृत्ति निरोधः तथा द्रष्टो स्वरूपे अवस्थानम्.
Let us go through how Kaivalyadhama takes someone through the process of transformation. We start at the Philosophical Research Department of Kaivalyadhama. Philosophical was formed by Swami Kaivalyadhama for the purpose of doing intensive research into yoga and allied aspects of Indian philosophy. The department has more than 1,000 manuscripts and translates ancient wisdom into the language of the modern man. This is done through books, academic papers, journals, and conferences. Let's meet Research Officer Dr. Rajeshwar Mukherjee. Dr. Mukherjee, does philosophical research benefit humanity?
Philosophy has always been the mother of all the sciences and all the branches of knowledge. And definitely, the philosophical wisdom is necessary in the modern days too.
What is the process of research?
We study the manuscripts and go for an extensive literature review. And then we identify a research problem. As soon as the research problem is identified, we go for analytical and comparative study. After that, we record the outputs of the study and publish them as a report in the research journals.
Can you give a few examples of the latest research that you have done?
Recently, we have started collaborating with IIT Delhi on few projects.
The findings are then transferred to the Scientific Research Department for validation. The scientific research was started by Swami Kaivalyadhama earlier in Amalner, which later evolved as Scientific Research Department when he started Kaivalyadhama in 1924. The research and validation helps reintroduce the ancient wisdom thus found in the ancient manuscripts into modern society. Let me introduce you to a research officer, Dr. Prasida Menon. Dr. Prasida, what kind of research procedures does this department follow?
Our department has a multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary approach to research. That is because yoga is a holistic science. So accordingly, we have 5 wings in our department: psychology, physiology, physical education, biochemistry, and yoga and allied sciences. Now, this type of approach that we follow in the department has 2 aspects to it. So we have fundamental research as well as applied research. In fundamental research, what we try to do is unearth how and why, basically how the yogic phenomena are acting on the body and mind level. In applied research, there are 2 types. One is the therapeutic yoga research, which is done for medical conditions. And the second is yoga for general well-being of common people.
Could you speak a bit about the latest projects?
Sure. So very recently, we did a project on intellectually disabled children and how yoga can help them. These children are more commonly known as mentally challenged children. So what we observed was yoga helped to improve their span of attention. It helped to improve their motor skills, ability to follow instructions accurately, all of this. Another project that we have done is related to how yoga can help with the absorption of micronutrients such as zinc, magnesium, iron, etc. And again, we had very good results with that project.
What kind of collaboration does the department have?
Our department has collaborations with 35 institutes which are spread all over the world. For example, nations like Russia, the US, Canada, Singapore, Japan, Korea, etc. These collaborations have been established for various purposes, like sharing of expertise related to a particular research, area of research, sharing of tools, equipments, instruments related to a specialized area of research, jointly organizing conferences, seminars, workshops, student exchange and internships, faculty exchange, and also accreditation for various yoga courses and also affiliations.
Now, let me take you back to where I started, the Kaivalyadhama College of Yoga.
Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviram Karvavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu.
When I joined here, I knew that there was change that lay ahead, and it wasn't going to be easy. To start with, it was going to be a new environment with people from different communities that I had no idea about.
Okay, and this is your which joint? Elbow joint.
And the teachings were taking me into the world of bewilderment. Everything started to make sense. Everything became rational. I was learning new things and getting introduced to a new world of inner sciences. Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Hatha Pradipika, human anatomy, and yogic psychology. This was new knowledge. Let's meet the principal of the college, Dr. B.R. Sharma.
The first ever formal college of yoga was started here at Kaivalyadhama in the year 1951 by Revered Swami Kaivalyadhama. It was for the first time that formal education in yoga was introduced. In the year 1962, the Government of India, through its Ministry of Education, recognized this as an All India Institute of Higher Education. As the name suggests, it was envisaged that the college would teach the subject of yoga in depth with synthesis of culture. Yoga as taught here is based on interpretation of classical texts on yoga, which is verified by scientific understandings.
This then takes us to the hospital and healthcare center. During my stay here, I have seen many people come to the center for relief from their problems, whether physical or anxiety and stress, or simply to get away from it all. And then, I have seen people leave here in a very different state that they came in. I have seen transformation happen.
तो ऐसा रखो, कोई बात नहीं, या थोड़ा ऐसा रखो, ठीक है? वो नहीं।
The Wellness and Rejuvenation Center is the confluence of many sources of knowledge and practices derived from our ancient scripts. For your stay, there are simple air-conditioned rooms and cottages. Food is based on Ayurveda and prepared under Sattvic principles. It is simple, organic, vegetarian and very nourishing. The food itself causes a deep cleansing of the system over a period of time. People come here for yoga asanas, long walks, immersion in nature and relaxation. Others come here for a week-long therapy based on panchakarma, oleation and deep cleansing, which is accompanied by the Sattvic diet. The naturopathy section here consists of water, steam and mud treatments along with therapeutic massages. The participants come from different parts of the world, North and South Americas, Europe, the Asian countries and Australia, and of course Mumbai, Delhi and many other cities, big and small, in India. The current head of the institution is young enough and dynamic enough to take this institution to the next level. So let's ask what his vision is.
Swami Kaivalyadhama had founded Kaivalyadhama with the fundamental principle of simplification of yoga and its in-depth rational understanding. I would like this place to continue with the ability to have initiation to the yoga sadhaks, where they can come and start their journey in the field of yoga. It would also be a place where the experiences, the fundamental experiences can manifest. And it also would be a place where through this manifestation, people can be transformed.
All activities of Kaivalyadhama revolve around a central spiritual figurehead for guidance, and his name is Swami Maheshananda.
Your journey starts with your practices of the body, that is Hatha Yoga, or you start your journey through the mind, a psychological part. Sitting quietly, you can observe the breathing which is coming and going, or you can observe how much thoughts are coming. And that way the yoga can work like a pure water, that water to the inner plant. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.